All right, we are back in the building for another episode of the Blackball Sports Podcast featuring your boys Sam Anton. Oh God, it's been a minute. We back in the building.
Yeah,
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
not good. Man, it's a lot of stuff to talk about though. That's the sometimes the good part of taking a little bit of time back. We got some stuff, and it's about to turn up soon because football season's here.
I'm
This friendly
excited.
talk shit is about to be out the window, man. It's
I
time to
know,
start
and I'm
talking some
glad.
shit real soon.
And I'm glad, man. And that just means football season is here, and I'm excited, man, because I hate it when it ain't here. You know what I'm saying? I hate it when it ain't
Yeah.
here. So ready to get to work, man. But let's talk about some NFL news real quick before we get to the nuts and bolts of this conversation. Per Adam Schefter today, a blockbuster trade between the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, at first we heard after a long time coming that Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers and getting a $1.5 million raise, bringing his 2025 compensation to $26.6 million. And that brings him alongside with Darius Slay, rounding out the Steelers' cornerback room in 2025. And then we found out in another blockbuster trade involving the Steelers and the Dolphins that not only will Jalen Ramsey go to the Steelers, but so will Jonnu Smith, and the Dolphins will be getting all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a late-round pick that I believe is a fifth-round pick, if I heard that correctly, man. So a blockbuster trade between the Steelers and the Dolphins. Steelers get Ramsey, filling out their secondary room, as well as Jonnu Smith. Dolphins get a secondary piece back in the draft pick, man. What's your thoughts on this trade, bro, when you first saw it?
I mean, I'm not as high on as everybody else is. I just think when you start clustering those names together like that, I feel like it could backfire on you when you're just going after names. Like even like Slay is a great guy. He was great for the Eagles. I would never say nothing negative about him. But you got two guys, on the other side of 30. If I'm not mistaken, Jalen Ramsey is close to 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
If not 30 years old. Not saying these guys still can't play, but you're relying on two 30-plus corners to cover these young boys out here. You know what I mean? That's Slay can still run.
Mm-hmm.
He can still run, and Ramsey can still run, but it ain't like these young boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Slay, he was a great option, obviously, because we had another great corner on the other side, but he was the number one corner, man. He was getting cooked a little bit. With Slay, and I'm going to get to these guys, it's more so the wisdom.
Right.
That he knows that if he can know what route you're going to run and the combination you're going to do, but like just pure like athleticism, if he guesses wrong, he's burnt like any other corner.
Right.
So I don't know. But one thing I will say about it though is that the organization matters too that you're going to. Like you're going to a winning organization. You ain't in no stinking ass Miami no more, or Jacksonville dumpster fire organizations where they don't really care even about winning. The Steelers is a tradition of winning.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me feel higher about the trade. If they could build a camaraderie, I think they could be solid. It looks like they're going all in to try to win a Super Bowl. That's what it looks like to me. But I don't know how the Aaron Rodgers thing is gonna, pan out. If it does, though, mark my word, if it does, there's no reason why they shouldn't be competing for, not gonna say Super Bowl, but definitely at least getting past the divisional round.
Yeah.
No reason why they should be one of the top three teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I don't see. I agree with you on the sense that if Rodgers plays to what the potential that we've seen him play to, that is the case. But I don't think he's that anymore, man. I really don't. I think that he's a shell of himself. The Aaron Rodgers that we knew and loved, and he was one of my favorite quarterbacks when he was at his peak. The dude could the way he threw a ball and how it was crazy. But when you look at his last year with the Jets, wasn't well. The year before, when he got traded to the Jets, he ended towards Achilles. And then his last year with the Packers wasn't so great. So we got 3 years of ball from Aaron Rodgers, and none of it could bring you confidence enough in going, okay, this is going to take you over the hump. And this is my biggest thing about this. It's like, okay, I see the Steelers making all these moves. They went and grabbed DK Metcalf. That's a huge move. They went now. They got Jalen Ramsey. They picked Darius Slay off of free agency. Now that makes me think, okay, where does Terry Porter Jr. lie in this equation? Because that was a starting corner. He was a first-round pick a couple years ago. I think he's going into year 3. Does he go into the slot? Does he stay on the boundary? What happens to one of them? Does Darius go in the slot? Like, I don't know. Does Ramsey go at safety because they traded Fitzpatrick? Who knows how these pieces juggle up and end up working out in their secondary? But looking at all this, and I still think of the Kansas Cities, I still think of the Baltimores, even with even within their division, they got Baltimore and Cincy. Look at Denver, the way they're looking now, and other teams, Buffalo still. I'm like, does this move put them over the hump? Does Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey put them over the hump, man? I don't know. And it kind of goes to the Steelers, as historical as they are, and they are a top shelf organization. I think Mike Tomlin is one of the top 5 head coaches in the NFL. As long as he's a head coach, I put him in top 5 because he's just that damn important to an organization. But are we looking at a eventual overhaul when this team has another 10-win season? They win, but they're picking 16th or 17th in the draft, and they still sitting in this quarterback conundrum when Aaron Rodgers is gone, and now we're just sitting right back here, and we can't get over this first round and going hump. I'm kind of worried about that. I kind of reflect back to the conversation we had a while ago about Mike Tomlin. I think a change of scenery, and I'm jumping the hump because he still has a full year to go ahead and do his thing. But I eventually see a change of scenery for this whole organization with the moves I see now. I just don't see it making them one of the top in the AFC, in my opinion.
Well, I think that they trying to, they figure, all right, and I don't know if this is the right way to even do it, but they figure, all right, we at least get into the playoffs. Let's now try to advance. But like you said, this is not like something that the Steelers usually do.
Right.
They don't really go after names like that. They kind of build from within, and they might grab a free agent here or there, but they build in the trenches and solid quarterback play, solid defense. Is this going to translate to that? I don't know. No, I don't know. It looks like they're just going, after, names at this point. So we'll see. Like you said, Aaron Rodgers, if they had a young quarterback that was up and coming, or even if they had Russell, but Aaron Rodgers might be finished, bro. Like, is he gonna make it through the whole season? What's the backup plan?
Have you heard him talk recently?
I ain't heard him say shit.
I heard he was on McAfee, and it kind of feels like, hey man, I just want to end my career in a place I love, in a top shelf organization, doing what I love to do. I don't hear I want to win a championship in his voice, bro. This is like his swan song. He didn't want to end on a bad note. He wanted to put some good tape on the board before he went out, man. And that worries me. And if I was a Steelers fan, that would worry me, because it doesn't feel like he has championship aspirations in his set. And I know all these athletes do, but when you toward the end of your career and this is it, do you have championship aspirations, or are you just trying to end on a high note? You're trying to end this career. He got his ring. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. He just got married. I don't know if he has championship in his mind. And maybe that's wrong for me to say, given that dude's a Hall of Famer and always trying to win chips. But I don't see it, bro. I just don't. It worries me when it comes to Steelers.
Yeah, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens, because last year Slay, he couldn't stay on the field. He made it through, but he would jump off for a few plays, jump back in, jump off for a few, you know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. That is what it is, the whole situation, man. It's not moving the needle, for me like that. It was nice to say, oh snap, it's a nice trade today. But let's see how it looks on the field first before we jump out the window.
Exactly.